Thank God it's Thaiday.
All right, here you guys are in Brisbane. How has the Australian tour been so far?
The Australian tour has been great.
It's only sad that this is the last show.
I know. Yeah, I mean, we've had the great privilege of hitting the whole country for the most part. I mean, I think the only places we haven't gone are like Newcastle and a couple other places.
Oh, you
like
haven't
that.
missed out on much there.
Watch the Newcastle game.
Right, but like Perth, Adelaide, a couple shows in Melbourne, a couple shows in Sydney, Gold Coast, and now Brisbane. It's been great, and in the last few runs, we've done complete touring in Australia, which is always nice.
Yeah, we've always been treated well. The Australian fans have been amazing and rowdy, and we like that. And,
Great.
So we're having a great time, and just sort of already trying to think about how we come back and when that'll be, and as soon as possible.
Already, you've got so much of your world tour to go, and you're already thinking about coming back here.
Of course.
Yeah, definitely.
Is that because you've got so many kids between you?
Yes, actually, yes.
the
We
bills.
don't want them to starve, so we have to stay on the road.
You
No,
have to look ahead. I mean, you don't have 25 years under your belt by waiting for something to happen.
Yeah.
You're always looking ahead at what's next, and sometimes that means thinking ahead before you've even done what you're doing currently. I mean, especially these days with music is about connection with people, and so it's about creating experiences. And so a live show is something you can't download, you can't stream, you can try and stream some of it, but you have to have that experience. And so that's a really special thing. And a lot of what we've been able to do over the last 20 years is to build that community and have it be bigger than all of us. And when we look at an audience, I mean, there's absolutely many familiar faces that travel and see many shows.
Are there really? So you can
yeah.
pick faces out in the crowd?
Oh, for sure. And we don't know every single person, of course, but we recognize that there's something bigger than us. And we talk about this with songs. Like, you write a song, you really have to create your art for you first, because you're going to live with it no matter what. But once you put it out there, it becomes everybody's, and people make their own memories. They come up with their own version of what that song's about. And that's where, like, thinking about tours and thinking about events and thinking about the future is exciting, because we know that there's lots and lots and lots of people for their own reason that are hoping to come to see you and share an experience that maybe actually is much about them and their friends going to have a great weekend, as it is about your idea of what it's going to be.
I think too, with your fans, is that we've grown up with you as well. What can you believe it's been 25 years since you since you started? I mean, you guys look the same.
In some ways, I can't. It's a lifetime. It feels like a complete lifetime. And in other ways, it feels like nothing. Just a minute. Because part of what's odd about this is, and especially for Zach, who was like the youngest, we've been doing this our whole life. And most people, maybe the last 10 years they've been doing what they've, their career. But for us, we've been playing venues,
this is it.
touring,
this is all you
traveling
know,
the world.
right?
Yeah, well, we're unemployable in just about any other field. So, we better make this one work.
We certainly haven't tried our hands at anything.
How do you think you'd go as a tradie? Maybe out in the work site. Are you handy?
I think I'd do pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you should see the treehouse Zach built all by himself.
We actually come from a pretty long line of carpenters and farmers, so
That's true.
We probably do all right. Yeah.
So-
Work ethic is definitely something that we, and in all
Grew up
seriousness,
with,
that was the
Obviously.
trade. That was the trade. Work.
Definitely.
If nothing else, we've always admired good work ethic.
I can't tell you how many trees we planted with our dad, and berms and things and ditches we dug over the years.
Well, I think part of the people ask us, just because it has been, this is our 25-year anniversary as a band, 20 years since the first time we came to Australia, and people ask, why are you still doing it, or how are you still doing it, and will you still be doing it? And I think the reality is, as much as it maybe seems like a cliche, but the work ethic thing is kind of part of it. We look at this as a job that we have to earn each day. And every time we go on stage, that's our craft, right? That's us building a cabinet or a house or a tree house or whatever it is, right?
Yeah, of course.
And the way you build it and the quality at which you do it every night and the albums that decides whether you get another job. And that's something you do every single day, especially on tour.
Well, and every single cabinet may not always sell as well as the next one.
Some are a little wonky.
And some are a little,
That's okay.
but everything's a learning experience.
I tried to do that, real modern, like no handles, and it's made out of like
You click. And
plexiglass.
Next year we're doing
fiberboard.
custom shoe racks.
Oh, great.
Actually,
Yeah,
instead
okay.
of
Great.
I look
Yeah.
forward to it.
Wait, are we talking talking about music? Okay, anyway.
All right, now let's go back to when you were, Bop's come out. You are riding this amazing wave. What's some of the craziest things that your fans have done to get your attention?
Besides 20,000 of them showing up in a Melbourne car park.
Yeah.
And
I
what,
would
just,
say that
just
was
chanting at you?
trying to get our attention.
I mean, these things are hard to describe in isolation. I mean, we've had a lot of crazy interactions.
Pick out one.
Well, because
what's something that you've just...
I think when people say that, they want to hear not like what are the things that impressed you, but they want to hear like, okay, what are the crazy things they did that could have got them put in a home? And for us, like, we try to forget that stuff.
Do
Like,
you?
we're like, no, God,
You don't-
security.
turn around and go, that's why I'm a rock star.
We've had situations that range from amazing to creepy. Like anybody that's been doing what we've done for a long time. And we've had people, go through your trash. We've had people get into hotel rooms.
Yeah.
We've had people,
Get into
steal your
hotel
stuff.
rooms.
Yeah,
Well, you've been in there.
but that's I mean, like Zach said, these are kind of the things that are the the anomaly. And we've stood in front of incredible crowds of people. I mean, we've had our car rocked in so much that we couldn't get out of situations with thousands of fans. I mean, we've experienced things that very few people get to.
I don't know if
but
you've ever.
It's not
we
really
we have a
the
film
goal.
that was kind of a pseudo documentary of sorts, or at least at that time. Tulsa, Tokyo, in the middle of nowhere, which came out in late 1997 after we'd been promoting and touring around on that first record. And I mean that shows a pretty extraordinary life experience set. And then we have a film called Strong Enough to Break, which also kind of documents somewhat similar elements, but then also the kind of process of making
the back
a record
end of it.
and leaving our record company and starting our own and so on and so forth. So I mean, there are a lot of those kinds of things honestly are in those films.
Well, I mean, the stuff that I think intends to impress us more is probably the stuff that doesn't sort of sound as exciting to other people, but it's like there are fans that have come to every single show on this tour. Right.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh my God, you're like an adult with a job and kids, and you're like, nope.
What job do you have?
And
you come out,
or all of the European. In fact, actually, there were several people that came on all of the European leg and then went to like 3 shows in Australia.
The tattoos, meeting fans, it's like that come from, far regions of the world because you're not touring there. Like last night I met girls from Japan. When we were in the UK, I met a girl from South Africa who had flown there. It's like these like people like making it like this is my vacation. This is the most important
people that
thing
started
in my life
their entire
right now.
their careers based on something that was specific to a song. People that learned to speak English while listening to your music. I mean, these are kinds of like it's all in the whole like tapestry of this, amazing and strange thing of being a band for all these years.
Or then the really heartwarming and kind of sad but sweet stuff of just, songs like With You in Your Dreams off of our first record, which was about the passing of our grandmother, and people talking about that song being valuable to them and when they've lost, loved ones and significant people in their lives. I mean, so it's those kind of things that always stick with you as an artist and as a person, And so I guess maybe in some ways we relate to it more on kind of a basic level. Maybe we're a little immune to some of the weird stuff, so we kind of look at it more like
that's just
person.
what happens on Saturdays. Really.
Yeah. So you ignore
usually
that
Sunday.
stuff. So
Sunday, of course.
you try and ignore the weird stuff so you can appreciate the good
Okay,
stuff.
all right. So not talking about them being weird then. When have you guys ever pulled out the, we're HANSON card to get something for free? Or...
Oh, we pull that card out plenty of times. As much as we possibly can.
Do you ever want to go,
I kid.
Isaac
I kid.
HANSON?
Well, the great thing about being in a band is when there are artists coming through town, especially in our hometown of Tulsa, where a lot of bands come through, but
you get a chance to meet people that you really
meet with
admire.
people,
Yeah.
like everything from the guys in the band Dawes to Taylor Swift and Ed Sheeran to
Elton John,
Elton John.
U2. I mean, people that we admire.
So and the cool thing about that is that you can relate to each other because you're all kind of going through in some degree or another the same kind of life experiences. And it's a little bit like my father-in-law, who's a police officer. He spends time with police officers who are his friends, and that is the way it goes.
They're the only ones that can understand what they do.
They relate to each other in ways that no one else
can. I think it's the other thing too.
Musicians too.
Like we still come at this job as fans, and like that experience of being a fan and wanting to hear your favorite songs. And so people will ask us stuff like, don't you get tired of playing X? Or is it hard to play the same songs every night? And I mean, besides the fact that we don't play the same songs every night, we do like come at it and go, yes, you have to make it new every time because that's your job. I mean, there were people last night when we were in the Gold Coast, like Taylor said from the stage, said, who's here for the first time? And literally half the audience raised their hand. Never been to a show. And you go, this is the first time they've heard Umbop. This is the first time they're hearing I Was Born. This is the first time they're hearing Where's the Love? Songs that we've played hundreds and thousands of times, these people have never heard. And you've got to remember that.
Yeah.
Which is why you can never be self-conscious about the music that you're making, because you want that experience. I mean, it's the greatest thing in the world too when you say who's.
And you can't phone it in.
You can't phone it in because it's like, wait a second. So to that point, is this your first time? You know, all these people raise their hand. You're like, okay, that's why I am here. And that's the most exciting thing about being here is because you get the chance to actually bring them in for the next show because they had a great experience. So you're like, okay.
Our problem is we really don't like to talk.
I can tell.
You know, that's our deepest issue.
All right. Speaking of first times, you obviously all got partners and kids. Did you pull out the HANSON card with your girlfriends and your wives and their parents? Maybe
my wife would have really not.
Why do you think that this would help with parents?
Yeah,
like you're like, hi, mom and dad, I'm dating a musician. They're like, oh my god.
Actually,
like,
I see.
It's a member of HANSON. They're like, oh, it's worse. Like what?
My father-in-law thought I was so beyond weird when we first met. So it's
I think again, like rewinding back to whether it's crazy fan stories or interactions with your wives or your life choices. This is what we do. This is our normal. Traveling, performing music. And so
think of us like circus performers.
We don't wake up. We don't wake up and say, "Oh my gosh, I'm a rock star."
You do though. You've done it before. No, haven't you? You have.
We've experienced some crazy things because of our profession, but it's certainly not something we abuse.
If we ever said that, it would be more with a big like question mark. So like, I'm a rock star.
Yeah.
Like when my 5-year-old son, like he was 5 at the time, when he said, "Yeah," when my wife asked him, "Well, what does Dad do?" And he goes, "Oh, Dad plays rock and roll guitar. That's his job." And I was like, is that a real job? I'm not sure that's a real job. It made me feel really awkward and uncomfortable. Like I'm training my son to think that this is a normal thing. I mean, on one hand, it's
like
great.
You need an official title, like purveyor of stringed instruments.
Yeah,
that's a big business card.
Yeah, it's a purveyor.
All right, really quickly, we've only got one question left. Obviously, everyone talks about Umbop. You've got new music out.
Yeah,
still churning out music.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, we're excited not only about this song "I Was Born," which is the latest single, which I feel really, really good about as a band because I think it really gets to the kind of ethos of where we've always kind of come from, I think, as a band.
So 25 years as a band, 20 years since we first came to Australia. I mean, we keep doing this job not only because we love it, because we're always thinking about sort of the next adventure, and taking this time to look back is really about a way to encapsulate the past so we can sort of take that next step forward. And the song I Was Born is sort of unashamed and completely optimistic and sort of uncloaked in a way that almost feels naked sometimes. But I think that's powerful and important to have songs like that in the world. And for us, I think it represents something about our story as a band, because we were just kids, when we decided to start this band and start to have a career, and we didn't go like, well, maybe we'll do it when we're older, or maybe we'll do it when people say it's okay. We said we want to do this, and we went for it, and we've been lucky to do it now for years. And I think more people in the world could use an encouragement to like check those things off the bucket list and like, hey, be the person you've always imagined you wanted to be. Because unfortunately, the world, sometimes we stop, right?
Yeah.
Because responsibilities or whatever it is, and those things don't have to be mutually exclusive. Like we can still live those dreams and see the bucket list get checked off, even while being responsible adults.
Music is everything for you guys, isn't it?
Absolutely.
I think purpose is everything too.
Purpose.
And we feel like we're living ours. And I think, that song, and really I think the reason we're still doing it and we'll stop doing it whenever this shows up is that we feel like we're fulfilling why we're here. And I think that connection with a lot of fans, whether it's through music or through the community that they're a part of, is the reason why we get to keep coming back.
Well, we thank you for it.
Yeah,
thank you for the last 25 years and look forward to the next.
All right.
Thank you.